If you love stories where freedom has a price, truth is illegal, and survival comes with a moral cost, you're in the right place. Here are my top 10 dystopian TV series and films. Number 1. The Man in the High Castle. This is a dystopian alternate history series released between 2015 and 2019, based on Philip K. Dick's novel of the same name. In an alternate post-World War II reality where the Axis powers won, the US is split into Nazi, Japanese, and buffer zones. A young woman finds forbidden films that seem to show a different world, stirring doubts about the regime's truth. Convinced the reals could help bring down the occupiers, she hunts for the person protecting them before that chance disappears. We've got 4 seasons. I believe the last time we talked about this was a couple of years ago, but now that you can finally watch it on Netflix, I must convince you all to do so. Because I was obsessed by this show. This was my first time seeing Rufus Sewell, and I've been recommending nearly everything I see him in ever since, because I think he is pure talent. Shout out to Inspector Kiddo, whereas the female protagonist was slightly annoying, a little like the protagonist in The Blacklist, but way more bearable than she was. Like most shows, this isn't outstanding throughout the whole of the 4 seasons, so I'm not spoiling anything, but you may not be as pleased by certain parts of the show. But I would say that the show is still worth watching no matter that. I barely remember the parts that I didn't like, actually. I thought it was so clever. The world building was incredible. The cinematography, the acting, I mean, I really loved this show. And to be honest, I've had access to it for years on Prime Video, but now that it's on Netflix, I'm thinking of rewatching it. First, because it's a great show, and second, because I want to tell Netflix that this is a great show and we need more of this. Did you notice it on Netflix? Did you start watching it? If so, let me know which is your first impression. Number 2. 3%. This is a Brazilian dystopian sci-fi thriller series released between 2016 and 2020. In a near future, post-apocalyptic Brazil, most people struggle to survive in the impoverished inland, while a small elite lives in the virtual paradise of the offshore. Each year, every 20-year-old faces a grueling series of tests for a shot at crossing over, but only 3% ever make it. Among the latest candidates is a young woman with no family and a strong moral compass, determined to challenge a system built to keep almost everyone out. I must be honest, I lost interest at the beginning of the 3rd season, but we have 4 seasons in total, I just found out actually. The reason why I recommend it is that I was hooked throughout the first 2 seasons, definitely worth it. At times it feels like an escape room, a school, military training, a regime. I praise the balance between world building, a plausible system, and different behavioral patterns. There's a lot of diversity as well, and disability is well portrayed. You feel like you're able to explore human relations and how different personalities react in such an environment. It's nothing like the Hunger Games, despite a similar selection process, or at least at the beginning. I prefer a clever and challenging set of tests over sheer violence, which is prevalent in the Hunger Games, in my opinion, even though you will see this is not lighthearted at all. If you don't mind dubbed or subtitled shows, give a chance to this and other Brazilian productions, because I remember seeing more than one valid sci-fi show made by Brazilians. They certainly have creativity and add their own twist to the genre. Have you ever watched 3%? And are the last 2 seasons worth watching in your opinion? Number 3. Raised by Wolves. This is a sci-fi drama released between 2020 and 2022. 2 androids are sent to an untouched, mysterious planet to raise human children and restart civilization from scratch. But when a human colony forms and begins to fracture under clashing beliefs, survival becomes the least of their problems. Caught between duty and chaos, the androids are pulled into a tense fight over who gets to shape the new world's future. we've got 2 seasons. If you need a reason to watch it, some episodes were directed by Ridley Scott. It was unfortunately cancelled, which is why I never had the courage to watch season 2. It has been too long, and by the time it dropped, I didn't want the show to end, if it makes sense. This made me feel sick at times, similar to the show C on Apple TV Plus, in the sense that there are raw scenes, but I easily get nauseous, so take this comment as it is, quite subjective. It's a genius show, and exactly what I thought we would move toward with sci-fi in general. When I saw it, I thought this was the future of sci-fi, and that all shows after that would take inspiration from it. One of the androids reminds me of Lady Demerzel from Foundation. They're both believable, and I can perceive their strength. I can see that they are strict. I can barely see them as humans behind this character. Great casting, because these two did a brilliant job. I believe this is quite underrated, but if you've seen it and you know of more underrated TV shows in sci-fi in general, but if they are dystopias even better, let me know. Number 4, From. This is a sci-fi horror series initially released in 2022 and still ongoing. A small town becomes a trap for anyone who enters, pinned in place by an invisible force that makes living impossible. As residents cling to routine and hunt for an exit, the forest closes in with new threats each night, and every clue they find only raises a more unsettling question. What exactly is keeping them there? The 4th season is coming in April. It's brilliant. It kept me on the edge. A bit too raw for me, it's a horror after all, but the clever plot had me intrigued and willing to go through scary scenes as well. I was pleasantly surprised and cannot wait to figure out the secrets that have yet to be revealed in the upcoming season. What's your crazy theory? Let's discuss it below with a spoiler warning at the top of the comment, because I just watched all the seasons available and I had no clue that another season was about to be dropped, so now I need to know and I need to talk about it with someone. Number 5. Equilibrium. This is a dystopian sci-fi movie released in 2002. In a tightly controlled future, war has been ended by outlawing emotion, banning art, and punishing anyone who dares to feel. A top enforcer of the regime spends his days hunting down dissenters and destroying anything that could spark humanity again. But when a missed dose of the emotion-suppressing drug cracks that conditioning, the system creates the one person capable of bringing it down. Starring Christian Bale. Need I say more? Reviews were negative enough to affect the overall audience memory of this film. The general public didn't really love it. It's not perfect, but it goes so well with The Matrix, Dark City, 1984, Fahrenheit 451, and the premise of Brave New World. Some could say that it's even a ripoff of all of these, but I love it for what it is. Christian Bale gives his soul in each role, no matter the script, the effects, or the world building. I think this movie deserves a special spot, if anything, for its early 2000 allure, the cinematography too, and Christian Bale's expressions. If you're into impressive action scenes, this one has a few. And as I said, if you're into cinematography, there's a clever use of color grading in this movie. Let me give you a few honorable mentions, because this list is not exactly the top 10 per se, because there are way more popular options. Maybe they better portray a dystopia. So let's just mention them here quickly. And the reason why I didn't give a spot to any of these is that we either talked about them recently in other videos, or they are not exactly known as a dystopian movie or TV show, rather a sci-fi in some other category, but I had to mention them. The Matrix, Gattaca, In Time, Foundation, Dark City, Brazil, The Handmaid's Tale, Severance, Wall-E, Silo, The Hunger Games, C, The Divergent Films, Maze Runner, The Giver, and Scavenger's Reign. Feel free to add your own recommendations in the comments. Number 6. Never Let Me Go. This is a British dystopian romantic drama film released in 2010 based on Kazuo Ishiguro's 2005 novel of the same name. Three friends spend their childhood in a serene English boarding school, sheltered by routine and the illusion that they have choices. After they leave, a long-hidden truth starts to surface, and everything they expected from life begins to fall apart. Love, jealousy, and loyalty collide as they realize what they were really raised for. Carey Mulligan, Keira Knightley, and Andrew Garfield are starring in here. The cinematography is more delicate, meditative. I felt pure annihilation. There is less spectacle, and it's more of an exploration of your soul in a dystopia, looking at relationships, expectations, cruelty. Personally, I really struggled with this movie, which is why I put it in this video here, because it's devastating and it hit me so hard that I don't think I would ever be able to watch it again. So don't watch it if you suffer from depression or anxiety. Just don't do it, seriously. But otherwise, it's a brilliant portrayal of how we are affected by certain decisions, by this type of dystopia. And I don't want to spoil anything, so I cannot tell you anything else other than it's truly well made. If you read the source material, what do you think of the adaptation? Number 7, Counterpart. This is a dystopian sci-fi thriller series released between 2017 and 2019. A minor bureaucrat at a Berlin spy agency stumbles onto his employer's biggest secret, a doorway to another reality. What starts as curiosity quickly becomes a dangerous world of secrets and surveillance. To survive, he will need help from the other world, whether he's ready or not. We only got 2 seasons of this, and it's such a crime because, I mean, it's amazing. There was another sci-fi with J.K. Simmons that was also cancelled right away after the first season. It wasn't as good, but I remember that, and it's such a pity. If you're into spy stories, for example, intrigue and mystery, this is definitely for you. Watching it now may have a whole different meaning, but I cannot tell you why. Once again, I'm avoiding spoilers. And this was another underrated show. For some reason, nobody knows about it, or very few people. Probably people like me who cannot stop looking for new sci-fi things to watch. But this had so much potential for more and more seasons, and I wish we had more TV shows like this. Number 8, Devs. This is a 2020 sci-fi thriller miniseries. A software engineer at a cutting-edge Silicon Valley tech company starts digging into her boyfriend's sudden disappearance after the official explanation does not add up. Her search leads straight to the company's secret development unit and its elusive CEO, where every answer seems locked behind tighter security. The deeper she goes, the more she uncovers a technology-driven conspiracy with consequences far beyond her own life. If you loved Ex Machina and Annihilation, this could be up your alley because the same person was involved in the production. I went into it thinking I would watch something different, but over time I grew fond of it, as it has distinct visuals. For example, the gold-orange tones on the premises of this tech company and their branding overall. It's quite unique. Don't expect, I don't know, edgy cyberpunk or cool action scenes. This is more of a philosophical and human show. It's not for the masses, it's quite slow, but if you didn't mind the silence in Severance, all the pauses, you could enjoy this one. It may sound appealing to you if you appreciate cinematography per se. The tone of the show is unique, and I can set this apart from other sci-fi shows I keep confusing and merging in my head because they're too similar or they don't have any distinctive features. It didn't go where I expected it to go, or it didn't do what I had hoped for it to do. And sometimes it's a reason for me to praise a show, as everything seems so predictable these days. But this show is quite niche, so if you don't care for it for the first couple of episodes, maybe you will not enjoy it. Number 9, Brave New World. This is a 2020 dystopian sci-fi drama series based on the classic novel of the same name by Aldous Huxley. In a seemingly perfect future, peace is maintained by strict control over monogamy, privacy, family, money, and history, under the belief that everyone belongs to everyone else. People are conditioned into fixed roles within a bioengineered caste system designed to keep pleasure high and conflict impossible. But when individuals question the rules, the illusion cracks, pushing the world toward forbidden love and rebellion. We only got one season and then it was cancelled, and I hate them for it. A moment of appreciation for a sci-fi show that chose Valencia as backdrop. It was my favorite moment in Under too. If you've ever been to Valencia and you visited this area, this cannot be mistaken. And it's exactly the backdrop that I was hoping for sci-fi shows and movies to use, because it's stunning. And maybe it also reminds me of the future we were expecting to see by now. My only real critique for this show, that most people won't agree with, is the sheer amount of sex scenes. I get it, pleasure is a key part of the plot, and this is the one case in which I can forgive the show. My solution is to skip such things, and that's it. But this was the main reason I had given up on Game of Thrones. Just to give you an example. The fewer sex scenes, the better. But I know most viewers disagree. And that's why they keep doing it, even when it's not needed or it doesn't matter plot-wise. I hope that someone else will pick up this 1932 novel and make another adaptation, because, come on, it really needs to be adapted, and we need to know what else happens. On screen. I own a copy of the novel. I want to see it on screen. Number 10. Continuum. This is a Canadian sci-fi show released between 2012 and 2015. A law enforcement officer from 2077 is stranded in present-day Vancouver alongside a dangerous group of future criminals. To protect the timeline, the officer teams up with local police and a young tech prodigy to hunt them down, knowing every move could reshape what comes next. We've got 4 seasons, and I confuse this series with Travelers because I must have watched them at the same time, and this is what I meant with Devs. Devs is so unique visually that I cannot confuse it with anything else, despite some parts of the plot being used somewhere else, you know? With Continuum, I cannot recall the plot clearly. Maybe the characters, because I remember the actors, or how I felt looking at the actors. But this is a problem, you see. It's not a brilliant show. Not throughout all the seasons, so don't expect the same quality as other shows on this list, which is why it's at the very bottom. But if you're out of options and nothing else on your watch list sounds appealing, give it a go. Just beware that it looks low budget, and sometimes acting isn't great, sometimes the special effects could be better, you know. But the premise is really cool, which is what often gets me. I know this wasn't exactly the list you might have expected, and please do let me know what would be on your top 10 list, or even just top 3. And now that you watched this, check out the video on the screen. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss my upcoming videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.